Do not fall asleep again. You owe it to your soul to wake up from all deceptions and remain aware and awake. And this is part of combating the pseudo spirituality and any distractions that are thrown at us all the time, at any point in time. When people first become aware that life goes beyond what meets the eye and that there is a spiritual world out there, call it non-physical world, whatever it is, something that is not tangible, something that, is very much different from everything else we've known before, they tend to go down several different paths. And the three main paths that I have discovered so far are number one, the New Age. Number two, religion or a belief resembling it. If it's not religion, it could be something like a Buddhist mentality, which, yes, Buddhism can be a form of religion, I guess, but it's more like a belief system. And number three, they're still looking for a savior in form of someone such as, let's just say, David Icke or others who are labeled conspiracy theorists, but who are very clearly controlled opposition. And I believe you would call these part of the truther community or something thereof. And, we are designed and we do have the option to wake up from this constant mind wiping, the constant hypnosis our souls are put in our daily lives. We absolutely have that option. And I do think that we even put these points in our lives, at certain intervals that, okay, now is a good time to wake up. Because obviously, it's hard to do this when you're a kid or even a teenager, all of that. So I do think we have these options. And once that happens, they, meaning all these entities, all these beings that don't want us to wake up and become aware, they've put these three scenarios or even other types of scenarios resembling it in our way so that yet again, we are being distracted by these agendas and belief systems, which ironically, these agendas and belief systems continue to keep us trapped because they're all false lights and also hopium. They require, usually, not all the time, but they do require the calling in of entities and outside forces to which our power and energy go. And they don't come out of nowhere they don't even come anywhere near the truth of what's really going on in our matrix construct. So don't fall for these deceptions. When I woke up from the New Age, life was very harsh. This is a long time ago, by the way. And it was like every aspect of my life, who I was and how I had defined myself, had been stripped of the so-called magic. But I now know that this was necessary. And magic is this unseen thing, because of course, when we first really wake up, before we fall for these deceptions, we're like, oh, there's something magical out there, like something tangible, like we can actually create our reality somehow. Let me just look somewhere, preferably online nowadays, but let me just go to these meetings and group gatherings where people can tell me how to use this magic or what this magic is really about, right? Call it creation power, call it whatever. At first I felt completely cut off from my own innate truth, my intuition even, and my psychic abilities, because the entities in these communities had confused me so much and ridden off my energy. And I know for a fact that this also happened to other people who have reached out to me in the past and who have confirmed similar, that the moment they actually pull their energy away, especially from the New Age, but also other belief systems, but the New Age for some reason does seem to be that one where, boom, the crash, when you actually crash away from that, the fall is very, very harsh because everyone tries to promise you something, right? They're like, oh, you're so special. Oh, you're the chosen one, or you're part of the chosen ones being what, the 144K, all of that. Oh, of course, these angels, archangels, spirit misguides, entities have the best of interest in mind, blah, 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 blah. But when you come away from that, and especially when you attended meetings and gatherings where you needed to call upon these entities or other people have called upon them, and you were in that energy, you actually feel really cut off from your own psychic abilities. And people have reached out to me over the years and told me similar. And I have experienced that myself as well, which is why I personally know that we have this powerful, powerful, powerful innate truth, intuition within us, and we never need to call in anything to access it, but we do need to learn how to access it. So even though people are only in this community, see again the new age, but this also happens in religion, even though they're only in it for a couple of years, the energetic damage is very well done. And for me personally, I could have easily gone back to that type of setting and forgot that these are all deceptions, right? I could have simply pretended what had happened was not grave or misleading, that all was well in unicorn land. And I probably would have become a very successful account with more followers and appreciation than I have now. Certainly less trolling, I can assure you of that. But for me personally, when I made that decision, I just knew it would not be the right path. And once you really wake up from all of that, you have a responsibility. And this is what people don't understand, because you're responsible for seeing through all of that deception, for calling out the BS when you see it, especially if you were a part of it, or if you've seen other people get damaged by it, which I have very much so. And you're responsible for also digging as deep down those rabbit holes as you can to really find out what's going on and where do you go instead. But most people don't do that. And I get it too, because staying deceived or falling for yet new deceptions, this is why most people go from the new age to religion, as we already discussed in a different post. New age, no morals; religion, all the morals, or all the pseudo morals, meaning the fake morals that they think they now need. But this is why people go from the new age to the religion, or from the religion even to the new age, or from the new age to this Buddhist mentality, or some other mentality, whatever it is. Or they fall into this truther trap, which is basically, okay, yes, we've left this behind. This was deceiving. Now we need to follow people like whoever's out there right now. Like Ike is a huge one in that community. So I just want to put his name out there. But whoever, like all these accounts that are spinning their mistruths that are really not getting you anywhere either. Most of them are controlled opposition. The way they've blown up, talk about archaics, talk about these type of people. So they go down these lines. And for some people, you weren't really part of any of this, but you just kind of stumbled across it and now you're part of that. So there's different angles and stories to all of that. But staying deceived or falling for yet new deceptions is always easier than looking around and seeing how much you actually have been deceived and how much your energy was messed with. For me personally, it took a while to rebuild my own sanity again, my senses again, and to finally find a path that resonated with me on every single level, and certainly for my own soul as well. For me, every day is an opportunity for learning, no matter who I communicate with or what I come across in terms of spiritual material, I always learn something. And I'm always able to see, is this really good for me? Meaning serving me, meaning, is this going to get me anywhere? Is this actually going to be some sort of new puzzle piece to the riddle that we're trying to solve, or to the path that we're on? Or is this just yet again, something that's deceptive? But at least in my case, I don't call upon anything. I don't call upon entities, angels. I don't fall for the Lionsgate portal or other hypnotizing, distracting concepts that get us nowhere, unlike others who do, who are still part of that. And for me, it's clear, don't fall asleep again. You owe it to your soul to, once you wake up, you need to wake up fully. And you can't just wake up a little bit, be like, oh yes, the entire 2020 agenda was deceptive, blah, blah, blah. I have people who refused every single thing from the 2020 agenda, meaning whatever they put in your body and everything. And then yet 2 years after that, or 3 years after that, 2023 and on, yet they're piping around, promoting stuff like the Lionsgate portal and other concepts, just as an example. Or then they're piping around promoting like mistruther things and all of that. That's not being fully aware and fully awake. That's just like falling, like awaking from one little agenda and then yet falling for yet another false savior or false agenda. Like you really owe it to yourself once you've hit that point that you're questioning everything already, which I felt the past 5 years were this marvelous opportunity to do that. You owe it to yourself to question everything after that. And it's really easy for people who do not yet have access to their intuition, to their innate abilities, to their psychic senses, it's very easy to fall for all of this over and over again, because in the end, it does provide this form of community, this form of hopium, and it actually provides plenty of distractions to make you feel better each and every single day. Right? Yeah, you don't have to wake up and feel miserable or whatever, because, oh, there's your community waiting there on your Telegram chat channel or on the YouTube channel, whatever it is that you're watching, right? Yeah, I am aware I'm on these platforms too, and I think it's necessary to be on all of those platforms to combat all of the deceptions out there. I just want to put it out there too. So it's no wonder that if you really take the case of, angel card readings, or yeah, let's just stick with that, like people who post readings every single day, 5 times a day, it's really no wonder that when they post every day for the past decade already, first, there's clearly the audience for it, and second, it makes them feel good to live in this form of denial instead of actually facing what's truly ahead, or the immense power that we have to tap into topics alone without entities. And similar to that, it's really easy for like a truther channel or a truther something to post on a regular basis like that too, but it will never really dig fully deep into whatsoever. Like I've been interviewed by these people too. Like I know what I'm talking about. I know that the energy is very strange, very off. These are like huge names as well. And so they always talk and talk and talk. And of course their stuff is interesting, but at the end of the day, it didn't really get me anywhere. I was like, okay, so what is next? What is next? And some of their predictions never came true either. So that was, okay, so what is going on here? Who are you controlled by? Life in general requires hard work, or rather consistent work. There's no shortcut to building a community or to tapping into your intuition or to succeeding or any of those type of things. And what I do have to say is we do have this innate ability within us to discern, but why is it so hard to connect to it? Because everything around us is trying to get us away from it. And it's really the ability to say, this does not feel right to me personally, because it's always about your own personal. This feels right. This doesn't feel right. Or I need to sleep on this matter. Something just doesn't feel off to me. What is really going on? And so the more you connect with that, I feel that is really the real flex in all of this. I call it the flex of spirituality. So it's not really falling for this and that and everything, but it's really waking up to, this is deceptive. At the end of the day, you have your own truth, your own power, and everything around you is always trying to distract you from that. Everyone is trying to push their opinion in your face, be like, oh, you need to make sure that, this and that, whatever, you need to make sure. So let's just say, as an example of the new age, oh, you need to make sure that you're living in unicorn land right now. Everything is nice and fluffy and whatever. And it's your bad vibration that's bringing things down. And then on the other spectrum, you have that so-called truth community. Oh, of course you're in a hell realm. Of course you need to die right away. And then you need to escape this matrix and blah, blah, without them actually knowing what they're talking about. I do want to point that out too. And so, as I've already said in so many different videos, especially over this past year, but over the past few years too, and we have a few hundred videos on this channel at this point, I do want to point that out. As I said over and over and over again, it doesn't matter what others really say. What matters is that you find your own voice, your own innate truth, your own innate power. And anything other than that is just a distraction. Anything other than that, and if it doesn't feel right, is probably not for you. And this is where people really need to start discerning. And this is what I call, do not fall asleep again. You owe it to your soul to wake up, to fully wake up. And you have that opportunity in this lifetime for sure. I do think out of every single lifetime we've ever had, and of course you've had several different lifetimes, let's be realistic here, but out of every single one that you've had, these are possibly the times where you do have that option and opportunity. I hope this helps someone. Share your thoughts below, and I look forward to the next one.